Dear students of first BA, BCom, BSc, BCA and BSW. Let us now look at Concord, a unit of grammar that you are going to study this year. What does Concord mean? Concord means Subject Verb Agreement. In any language, in a sentence, the verb should agree with its subject in number. So what does it mean? It simply means that if there is a singular subject in a sentence, we need to use a singular verb. And if there is a plural subject, a plural verb is used. Now what does subject mean? Subject means the agent of action in a sentence. In our language we call it kartrupada. And what is verb? Verb is kriyapada. It indicates the action. Okay. So the subject does the action, does the work, right? And the verb indicates the action that is done by the subject. A subject can be either a noun or a pronoun. Okay. What are the pronouns in English? So we have got I, we. These belong to the first person. When you come to the second person, you have got you. And in the third person, we have got he, she, it and they. So in the first person, we have I and we. Here I is singular and we is plural. But when we construct sentences, we normally make use of plural verbs after or along with I and we. The exceptions being am and was. So we say I am a teacher. That is singular. I was a teacher last year. So that is singular. In all the other places, we make use of plural verbs along with I. So I is plural normally with these two exceptions. We is always plural. For example, I go to Mangalore. We go to Mangalore. Come to the second person now. You go to Mangalore. So in Kannada, we have got two words in the second person. These are Neenu Mattu Neevu. But when you come to English, you have got just one pronoun there. That is you. What does it mean? Does it mean Neenu Neevu? It means Neevu. And you know that in English, there is no word for Neenu. Even when I talk to my daughter or my son, I cannot use a singular verb. I have to use a plural verb itself and plural pronoun as well. So I say, you go to Mandwal. I'm talking to my dog. Say, how do I say? You come here. You go. I can't say you goes. That is grammatically wrong. So what is understood? In the first person, we have got two pronouns. These are I and we, and both take plural verbs. I go, we go. When you come to the second person, again you make use of just the plural verbs. For example, you come, you go, you study, you listen, you read, you sleep, you laugh, you smile. Okay? So there is no singular form in the second person. Now come down to the third person. In the third person, you have got he, she, it and they. He, she, it are singular. They is plural. Example. He goes to Bantual. She goes to Bantual. It goes to Bantual. They go to Bantual. Clear? So he is singular, she is singular, it is singular, they is plural. But when do we use they? They is used only when you have got more than one person. When you talk about more than one person, you have to make use of they. Remember, when you talk about one person, however great he may be, you can never use the pronoun they. It has to be he. See, I give me so much of respect, so I say I go, plural. I give you so much of respect because you are listening to what I am saying, so I say you go, you teach, plural. But the moment somebody goes out of sight, then we have to use the pronouns he, she, it. These are singular, purely singular. So he goes, she goes, it goes. But when there are two people, when there are two dogs, two books, two pencils, then we have to say or use the pronoun they. So they go out. They are barking, right? They do not work. So they is used when you're talking about more than one person or one object. Is that clear to you? So first person, I and we, both are plural with two exceptions. You, it's only plural. In the third person, he, she, it are singular, they is plural. Okay. Now there are, as far as the number is concerned, there are two kinds of verbs in a language. What are they? Singular verbs and plural verbs. So I'll begin with helping verbs. We have got a list of helping verbs in English. What are they? I'll begin with am. Am is a peculiar verb because it goes just with I. So I am a teacher. Okay? I am a doctor. I am an engineer. So am is singular, no doubt. It is used just with I. Correct? So am, second verb, helping verb. Is. When do we use is? We use is with he, she, and it. He is going. She is going. It is going. Okay? So is goes with third person singular. Right? Then you have got was. The past tense of was. Singular, plural. It is singular in the past tense. So even with I, we make use of was. Okay? So I was, he was, she was, it was. Alright? So next auxiliary, primary auxiliary verb, are. Are is plural. Okay? Are is plural, but you can't use are with I because I has got a special primary helping verb, that is am. So leave out I. Are is used with we in the first person. In the second person, you. So we are studying grammar. You are studying grammar. When you come down to the third person, it is used just with they. So they are studying grammar. So we are studying grammar, you are studying grammar, and they are studying grammar. It is plural in the present tense. In the past tense, we make use of were. I cannot be used with that because I goes with was. I was studying, right? I was teaching. I was reading. But when we use we, were comes in. Okay? So we were studying, we were reading. Second person, you were reading, you were talking, you were listening, you were studying. Third person, they were writing, they were shouting, They were listening to me. So were is a plural verb. That is past tense. So am singular, is singular, was singular, are plural, were plural. Clear to you? Come down. We have got some more words here. Some more primary helping verbs. Has, have, had. Has is HAS, okay? Has is singular. Have is plural. Had is past tense. Has singular. So it goes with the pronouns like he has, third person singular. He has, she has, it has. Doesn't go with any pronoun either in the second person or in the first person. So he has a book, she has a book, it has a book, my son has a book, my friend has a book, my father has a book. Fine. She has a book, it has a book. Okay, so has is singular. Have is a plural form. Same meaning, have is plural. So have goes with your I have, we have, you have, they have. So has is singular, have is plural. Then had is the past tense of both has and have. He has a book. Last year he had a book. Past tense. I have a book. That is plural. Last year I had a book. Past tense. So when you make use of had or any past tense verb, you don't have to worry about the number because past tense doesn't care for the number. You can use past tense verbs, especially main verbs, along with singular subjects and plural subjects. For example, I come, plural. He comes, singular. Past tense, I came, past tense, he came. Past tense is the same for both singular and plural. So don't worry so much about your number when you are making use of past tense verbs. Okay. So has, have, had. Has is singular, have is plural, had is the past tense form. We have got one more set here. Does, do, did. Does is singular, do is plural, did is past tense. Okay, so does singular, do plural, did past tense. So does can be used with third person singular. He does the work. She does the work. It does the work. You can't say I does the work. Wrong. I do the work. So I goes with do. Okay. We do the work. You do the work. He does the work. She does the work. It does the work. They do the work. So does is singular, just like your has is singular, does is singular. Do is plural. It goes with all the plural pronouns like I do, we do, you do, they do. Right? Does, he does, she does, it does. Both does and do have a past tense form. What is that? Did. So I have already told you that don't worry about singular and plural, the number, when you are making use of past tense verbs. Because they are the same for both. For example, I did, we did, you did, they did, she did, he did, it did. The difference occurs just in the present tense. So he does, she does, it does. Clear? Now you have got another set of auxiliary or helping verbs. These are called modal verbs like your can, could, shall, should, will, would, must, may, might, etc. Don't worry about these verbs because for these verbs number doesn't matter. You can use both singular and plural with these auxiliary verbs. For example, I will, he will, we will, you will, she will, it will, they will. So don't worry about that. Just forget about it. Okay. So what is our basic rule here that governs your Concord? Singular subject should have a singular verb. When you make use of a singular subject in any sentence, remember to make use of a singular verb. That's our first rule. Is it clear to you? Singular subject, singular verb. Plural subject, plural verb. Some examples. I do the work, plural. We do the work, plural. You do the work, plural. He does the work, singular. She does the work, singular. It does the work, singular. They do the work, plural. Now let us look at the main verbs in English. So I have already told you there are two sets of verbs in English. Helping verbs and main verbs. I have given you the examples using primary helping verbs. Now let us look at the main verbs in English. Main verbs are plenty. Now you can't make a list of, they are countless. Okay? Main verbs are countless. For example, go is a main verb. Come is a main verb. Write is a main verb. Read, main verb. Talk, main verb. So how do these verbs change? Look, when I use a singular subject, I have to make use of s with the verb which I am using. So plus s. Main verb plus s is singular. For example, he goes to Bantuan. He singular subject. Okay, he singular subject. Go is plural verb. Without s, that is plural. So with s, that is singular. So I should say he goes to Mangalore. He goes to Mangalore. She goes to Mangalore. It goes to Mangalore. But I without s, plural. I go to Mangalore. We go to Mangalore. You go to Mangalore. They go to Mangalore. So clear? So when there is a singular subject, remember to use s with your verb. See, if the verb is come, how does it change? He comes, she comes, it comes, they come, you come, we come, I come. So s is used with singular and s is deleted when you have got a plural subject. So singular subject, singular verb. Plural subject, plural verb. When there is a main verb, to make it singular, add s with that. If it is a plural, delete s. So plus s, singular, minus s, plural. Now you may have a question here. See, when you make use of a noun, then you add s with it to make it plural. For example, one pencil, that is singular. Noun, pencil is a singular noun. Here I am talking about nouns, not verbs. One pencil, how do you make it plural? Two pencils. One student, how do you make it plural? Two students. Right? One pen, two pens. One boy, two boys. You add s with a noun, that becomes plural. Correct? You delete s, then you get a singular noun. But verbs are totally different. When you add s with a verb, that becomes singular. Correct? When you delete s, that becomes plural. But when you have nouns, adding s can make it plural, deleting S can make it singular. So this should be kept in your mind. So clear? Now let us go to the second rule. The first rule is that singular subject, singular verb. Plural subject, plural verb. Let us look at the second rule that governs your Concord. Normally, a subject is either a noun or a pronoun. Okay? See, Ram is a good student. Ram, it's a noun, proper noun. Okay? But then I can make a sentence by using he or she or it or they or you or we or I. These are pronouns. So a noun can be used as a subject in a sentence. Even a pronoun can be used as a subject. But sometimes we use some phrases having more than 2 or 3 words. That can be quite confusing when you choose a correct verb. So in a long sentence, when you use a phrase as a subject, you will find it difficult to locate or find out the real subject. And if you can't find out the real subject, your sentence will become grammatically wrong. I'll give you an example. One of my students, this is a subject in a sentence. I'm talking about one of my students. So look at the words here in the subject. One of my students. Okay, one is a noun. You know, it's a number. Of, second word, is a preposition. My is a pronoun, possessive pronoun. Students is a noun. So one of my students. Can leave out the possessive pronoun and the preposition here. Now just look at the first word and the last word in the subject. First word is one. The last word in the subject is students. Look at the difference. Students is plural. One is singular. So what kind of a verb should you use here? Should you use a singular verb or whether you have to use a plural verb, because students is plural. So one of my students is intelligent or are intelligent. If you look at the students, then you may feel like using a plural verb. Students are. If you look at one, then you will think that is right, singular is right. So what do? So when you get this kind of a subject in which there are more than 2 or 3 words, you should look at the real subject. You should use your logic. So in this sentence, whom am I really talking about? Am I talking about the students in general, or am I talking about just one student? One of my students. Definitely I'm talking about one student. So one is a real subject, not the students. Okay? Students is not the real subject here. There are 2 subjects, no doubt. First one is one. The second one is students. Since I am talking about one student, the verb should be singular, not plural. Clear? So what's the right sentence? One of my students is absent today. One of my relatives is a doctor. One of my friends is an engineer. Okay, so when you use one, then the verb has to be singular. Don't look at the second subject, that can be misleading. Clear? Okay. There is an exception here. See, if I come out with a sentence like that, he is one of the doctors who dash in Mangalore. He is one of the doctors who dash, within brackets, live. He is one of the doctors who dash in Mangalore. Is a live or lives. You may feel like saying it is lives because I am talking about one. But grammatically, live is right. You need to use a plural verb here. Let me explain. He is one of the doctors who live in Mangalore, not lives in Mangalore. You know why? I'm using a plural verb here because in this sentence I am making use of a relative pronoun. What is a relative pronoun? See, words like who, whom, why, which, that, whose, etc. In this sentence, I am using the relative pronoun who. So when you use a relative pronoun in a sentence, the verb should agree with the subject that comes just before who. We call it antecedent. Antecedent. The verb should agree with the antecedent or the relative pronoun. Antecedent means the subject that is referred to by the relative pronoun. So in my sentence, listen to my sentence again. He is one of the doctors who live in Mangalore. Whom does who refer to? The doctors. The doctors is not singular, that is plural. Clear? So I should say he is one of the doctors, plural, who live in Mangalore. I am using live here, which is a plural verb, because of who. Who refers to doctors, which is plural. Okay. So I'll give you one more example. One of my relatives who live in Chennai is a doctor. See, one of my relatives who live in Chennai is a doctor. One of my relatives who, since who is used here, the verb should agree with the word that comes just before that. Relatives are plural. Okay, relatives plural. So I should say live. But look at the next, the verb in the second part. One of my relatives who live in Chennai is a doctor. That is goes with one. Okay. So the sentence actually means that I have got so many relatives who live in Chennai. And I am talking about one of them who is a doctor. So clear? I have got so many relatives in Chennai. One of them, one among them is a doctor. Okay, so one of my relatives who live in Chennai is a doctor. Clear? Next one. So what's the first rule? When there is a singular subject, singular verb. When there is a plural subject, plural verb. Second one, when you use a phrase as a subject, as the subject in a sentence, you should find out the real subject. Okay. Then the exception here, when there is a relative pronoun in a sentence, the verb should agree with the antecedent of the relative pronoun. Is it clear to you? We'll go to the next rule now. When two subjects are combined by using and, then the verb has to be plural. Okay. For example, Rama and Sita are very good students. Rama and Sita. There are two singular subjects here. What are they? Rama is a singular subject, singular noun. Sita is also a singular noun. So Rama and Sita are combined by using and. So my verb has to be plural. Clear? English and Kannada are lovely languages. English and Kannada are lovely lunches. He and I are very good friends. I'm using and to combine the subjects here. So what do you understand? When two singular subjects are combined by using and, then the verb has to be plural. It's easy to understand. But then, when two singular subjects combined by using and refer to express one idea, the same idea, then the verb has to be singular. Let me repeat. When two subjects express one idea, then the verb cannot be plural, it has to be singular. For example, bread and butter. Bread and butter is what I want. Bread and butter is, not are. See, there are two subjects here. What are they? Bread is a subject. Butter is also a subject, both are nouns. Singular nouns. And these are combined by using and. But still, we are using a singular verb because bread and butter express the same idea, one idea. How do you eat bread and butter? Do you eat bread and butter separately? No. These two things come together. So it is one idea. So bread and butter is. Okay. Bread and butter has. You can't say are. Similarly, age and experience. Am I talking about two things or one thing? Just one thing. Age and experience are interrelated, isn't it? They are interrelated. Age and experience comes, singular, is singular, brings wisdom. Age and experience brings wisdom. You can't say bring. Okay, singular. A very famous sentence. Slow and steady wins a race. Slow and steady wins a race. If you are slow and steady. Slow and steady, come on, the same idea. Just one idea. As tide and time. Tide and time refer to the same is. So when two subjects refer to one idea, express the same idea, remember to use a singular verb. Next one. When two singular subjects combined by using and are preceded by each and every. Let me repeat. So you have got two singular subjects which are combined by using and.